I think one of the hardest things, but one of the best things we could do for ourselves, because it doesn't require anything except a mental battle, is being able to admit, is developing the ability to admit that you're wrong, that you are wrong in every little instance. So many times it's an unwillingness to admit that we're wrong or that we could be wrong, which prevents bridges from being built. It prevents productivity, functionality, harmony. Even when speaking about, let's say, so there's some people that when I talk to them, they clearly think, and I ain't mad at them for thinking this, but they think that my dissemination of information is for the sake of self-inflation. It's just, I'm just talking because I know things, or I think I know things, and it's just so fun, and it makes me feel so powerful to articulate them. Because that's typically what a knowledgeable person, quote unquote knowledgeable person will do, tends to do. I've met those people all throughout my life, and I have been that person here and there. When you know things, or you have read a fair amount of books, and all you like to do is hear the sound of your voice. All you want to do is just share with everybody how smart you are. And that's often what we get with people who know things. They just want to sit on it, and they want you to be a witness to it. And it just reinforces their self-esteem, their perception of themselves. But believe it or not, some people can have a much more wholesome intention, a purer intention. And so the problem with what happens when you confront somebody with a pure intention is that you see that, and this is no big deal, This is something I've seen, and it's not even produced any kind of conflict or anything. I'm just saying it's something I've noticed. It's fairly trivial, but it's also super important because not to go on a tangent here, I just think intelligence has a lot to do with not merely what you can score on an IQ test, but intelligence. We're pigeonholing ourselves. We're suffocating aspects of our intelligence because we're not being open. Open doesn't mean accepting. Open doesn't mean that you will agree. Open just means you're honestly listening, and you're honestly assessing whether or not this is something that makes sense or doesn't make sense. Because instead what I find is that there's other people who feel insecure. They feel insecure. They want to win. It becomes this debate in the disguise of a conversation, but it's clearly a debate. 'Cause I remember being in this place. I know it's very instinctive. It's a super reflexive, instinctive thing and competitive thing, especially with other men, which is why I'm not a fan of men, because men tend to want to get competitive with you. And again, trivial. None of this has spiraled into any kind of profound conflict. I mean, maybe with people that I've been close to, but I'm talking about recently. It's a human thing, is my point. I'm just speaking to what I've been observing recently. Or I've always observed this, but this is fresh on my mind, so I'm talking about it. But I just think, and I have to remind myself, is a lot of the things that I say here, they're for my sake as well, because I need to remember that it's okay. I don't ever want to forget that it's okay to be wrong. It's okay to be wrong, to have misinformation, to be a bit misled, misguided, deceived. to have overlooked an angle. It's all right. And it's okay to believe what you're saying and to have evidence for it, but we have to listen to each other. I've noticed, I guess I was thinking, I guess what it comes down to is I was thinking about my past self, who I was at like 25, 26, just a few years ago. Because I was just thinking, I'm like, you know what, Marcus, there's in a lot of ways you're so stronger, but a lot of ways you're weaker. It's funny. Certain things, certain aspects of yourself have become much stronger, but you've lost some of your strengths. And I was thinking of, and I had this for a moment when I was fully pursuing Zen mode. I had this supreme patience. I had a major patience. A patience that I want to get back again. And I was very understanding. And I was very convinced of something I call the child theory. It's just that certain parts of us don't mature, even though you're in the body of an adult and you might pay your mortgage. You might have all these quote unquote adult you have these adult responsibilities. You have this adult life. You look like such an adult. You sound like such an adult. But then the child comes out, and not in the good kind of way. Not in the child can come out with passion and interest and curiosity. No, not that child. We're talking about the spoiled child, the moody child, the unable to sit still, see the bigger picture child. And I feel like that part of ourselves doesn't mature and develop at the same rate as the other parts that are dedicated to acquiring the necessary material things and gaining the necessary credentials. I feel like something's often lost. And I was so convinced of that. I remember that I could deal with people much more. There would be a fantastic beeping at this moment. I want to gain it back though, because it's true that I guess I'm become more sensitive and intolerant. It's not that I was insensitive then. I guess eventually, just on paper, I think my perception is that I've had enough of people's bullshit. I've had enough of tolerating their intolerance, being sensitive to their insensitivities. I've had enough of that. But then I find myself now wanting to be back in that place, wanting to be better, wanting to be stronger than that. Not necessarily to put myself in harm's way, socially speaking. But yeah, what's my goal for the day? I've been meditating again. I've been trying to focus on my breath. These things help a lot, centering myself. In case you don't know why I care so much about growth and development and stability, it's because I'm a human isotope. I am a human isotope. I'm capable of breaking down and having a great, strong instability at any moment. It's not the kind that harms people. It's the kind that harms myself. It's the kind that seeks reward so ferociously and so narrow-mindedly that it has significant negative consequences upon many things. And so my interest is to be stronger than my weaknesses, even though my weaknesses will always be there. I don't like being so out of control when I have opportunity to do so. Like I said, I think something I wrote, if this is my fight, if this is my battle, shit, I should count my lucky fucking stars. There's people's lives who, they have to worry about such external chaos that they don't even have any amount of time to worry about their internal chaos. It's a luxury. It is a fucking luxury that I can focus my attention on my internal world. And yet it's still, I find the spoiled child within me is just like, no. It's hard to be a good human, man. It's hard. It's such inconsiderate people around here. In Houston, Texas, which I call the Southern New York, except it's way more classless. Shit, motherfuckers. Now I'm gonna say, man, this people around here suck. There's no love. There's no warmth. Maybe there is in certain other areas of Houston. It's large, but it's just people trying to get to where they're trying to get to. Fuck you. Fuck where you're trying to get to. Like, no one cares, and they are complacent and happy just to be who they find themselves to instinctively be. And this probably everywhere, but it's just, I guess, made more glaring and more insufferable when it's such a concentrated, dense area. It's cheap here, though. It's cheaper than other places. Ain't mad at that. But that's the fight, man. I believe in the fight, and I don't ever want to stop the fight. Even when I do want to stop the fight. I guess, what is it? It's like a question of what brings one satisfaction? What brings one fulfillment? What brings you happiness? Because on the flip side of that, I can say that I'm happier than I've ever been in my entire life. Now, here's the thing. When I say that I'm happier than I've ever been in my entire life, is that because I'm where I'm at? No. Or rather, is that because I'm where I want to be? No. That's not why I'm the happiest I've been in my entire life. I am not where I want to be. My goals have not been reached. But I love that my efforts are incessant. My efforts are ceaseless. I'm happy because even if my 4 pillars of happiness, adequate sleep, adequate nourishment, adequate physical activity, fulfilling social relationships, even though they sometimes aren't the most solid pillars, and I don't have them as sound as I would like, they're still there, and they really do contribute to my sanity, to my stability. I'm very happy and fortunate that I had a significant amount of time, particularly in 2017 and 2018, to spend meditating and investing in myself and figuring out what I could do to further my productivity, my healthiness. I feel super fucking fortunate despite any complaints that I have. I genuinely, seriously, honestly feel like one of the luckiest people on this planet. Because although I'm frustrated by the lack of awareness, the obliviousness of my fellow man, the inconsideration, the lack of mental depth, spiritual depth, although that frustrates me, I'd rather see things than not see things. I'd rather have awareness and suffer than be blissfully ignorant, blissfully unaware, because I see the damage that does. It'd be different if inconsiderate, mindless, autopilot sort of behavior more often than not tends to not hurt anybody. But no, people are being hurt. Hurt people are hurting people, and we're all desensitized to it. And we just go through the motions and keep it going, and we just deal with it. But that seems to be so stupid, so pointless when you know damn well you want a good life. You know you want happiness and joy that's real. You know you want somebody to connect with and bond with that will be transparent and vulnerable with you and considerate. You know that just talking shit is not all that you'd like to talk. You'd like to talk about what matters to you. There's things that matter to everybody. Everybody has something that fucking matters to them. Even if all that matters to them was the fact that nothing really matters to them. Just, you have a truth You have a truth that you could speak, but a lot of people aren't interested in your truth. A lot of people don't give a fuck about your interests and your goals and your moods and stuff. And I must admit, we make it hard too, because some of us don't go about it in the right way. Some of y'all just want to talk about you. And I'm super hyper self-conscious about this because I'm capable of doing that as well. You can't just talk about you and not have an interest in it. If you find yourself not being interested in another person, you have to ask yourself why that is. Why aren't you interested in what they have to say? Why not? I don't know, and I don't know, the answer can vary. The answer might vary. I know there's some people in my life that don't want to hear what I have to say because they know subconsciously, to me it's evident, I should say. I believe very strongly that they don't want to hear anything that I have to say because it's too challenging. And then they don't have a desire to grow or learn at this moment. And they might not for the rest of their lives. They're not interested in seeing things differently. Conservatives aren't only Republicans. Conservatives is not merely for the political sphere. Many of us are mentally conservative, meaning we are very adverse to evolving, changing our attitudes, our minds, our perceptions, to recognizing that maybe we've been doing something wrong for a very, very long time, which goes back to me talking about that wrongness, that need. We got to be able to admit that we're wrong. Like with my writing, I want to admit that I'm not doing everything that I should. I'm not nearly as militant about it as I was before. And there's a reason for that. But now it's time to get militant again. I was doing more of a soul writing thing where, for a while, because I realized that I was losing my love for writing, my enjoyment for it, because I was being too militant. And then I took a break from the militant part and let it just come as organically as ever it wanted to come. But now I think I need to form a hybrid now. Now I need to switch it up again. I want to fall in love with it again, as I once did, before I let so many outside forces taint it. But it's just an open conversation, man. But we don't have the mental energy for that shit, do we? And plus, it feels so good to think that you know what you're talking about. That's also why I try to move on. If I'm right about something, I don't want to get off on it. I don't want to feel reward for it. If I'm right when it comes to like conflict, or if I'm right even when I'm talking about anything, and if somebody just tells me how right I am, cool, moving on. I don't want to fall prey to having my head up my ass, to believing my own hype. There's no fucking hype. What are we doing? What are we doing? Do we want to just do our best and to say real shit with each other? It's funny, real shit is such a novelty that it's seen as this magical thing for a motherfucker to be authentic and real. And it is a magical thing, damn near, because it's so rare. That which is magical tends to be that which is not typically seen, typically widespread, and you yourself don't know how to concoct it, how to do it. There's a trick to it. There's complicated. What is this? That's the magic of authenticity and transparency. It's odd, it's abnormal, but it's so welcoming. It's so rare. All right. I think I'll stop. I don't think this was a good one at all, because I forced myself to really get on here and say things, and I feel like I'm just repeating myself, to be honest. I hope y'all learned to, I hope I'm not boring you. And I apologize for repeating myself about certain topics. I'm just going to keep trying. I'll just keep trying. All right. Thank y'all. Peace out.